back at it. Back at it, but yet again, nothing much to really report on today. Nothing much to really report on today. Let's just cook. それだけです。All right, let's cook. I need a. I'm walking as of right now, mainly because I just want to have a clear stomach. Overall, there's nothing really. I have a lot of stuff cooking up, things to think about, but I haven't really come to any conclusion. So I'm kind of just more or less waiting for it to cook a bit. And I want to get back into the Medi, like hit that in the morning while I'm in a fasted state. Like a 15-minute or see how that feels. Family visiting tomorrow is going to be a little bit annoying because I still have so much stuff to do. I think I'm going to push off the D&D campaign this week till next week, mainly because I have an IRL event and I have talking to my Japanese language exchange friend, which I'm なんか緊張してますけど、なんか頑張らなくちゃいけない。So I'm just, trying to get to a point where it's decent. We have big first year anniversary event coming up tomorrow in Uma, and I'm a bit excited for that. I just started a game called Path of Arthas. It's not right. It sounds like a Path of Akra. Path of Akra is the game I just started. It looks heavily addicting, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Like, is this really something I want to do? The graphics look like absolute dog shit, but it's one of those things where I know this is the thing that's going to fucking suck me up. I'm looking at this guy has 30, 80, 50 hours, 60 hours, 102, 251 hours. Holy shit. Okay. 58 hours, 90 hours, 118, 14, 16, 416 hours, 350 hours, 600 hours. Man, from a guy who's been playing computer games since 1967. Jeez Louise, brother, how the fuck? What the fuck? I've been playing computer games since 1967? Bro, who is this man? Bruce. Conquest of Elysium. Sid Meier, Civilization 5. EverQuest free to play. Yeah, he does look like a boomer guy. Jeez Louise. Okay, let's look at Tales of Magiel. Tales of Magiel. 58, 75 hours, 33, 2 hours, 153, 200. Man, okay, this guy has 832. 4,000 hours. Okay, so yeah, there's like multiple people with 1,000 plus hours on their reviews. Okay, there's like 5 of them in a row. So I think Tales of Magiel is a very much more deeper game than this game I'm looking at, which is good. That makes me less scared of being sucked into it, mainly because if I'm looking at the reviews and I see like the max hour count is like 300, 400, that means like, okay, I'm not going to be completely lost into it. Path of Akra, which is good. I mean, I just came off of Kingdom Come Deliverance. But I don't really have anything to play right now. But there's Uma coming out, so I want to play Uma. There's all that. But anyways, I'll keep this game in the back burner if I have something that I want to do. We'll see. Otherwise, I'm walking right now. I'm kind of out of breath, but let's continue. Let's go back to reading. This is when I hear when Jakob is talking about whether or not he wants to capture Morgana, and I think he's considering it, right? その男は思っているよりすんなりと私計画を受け入れた。私はマートを迎えるために町の外れに安木を用意していた。前領主の別邸として建築したものだったが、結局は使い道は失った館だ。高価、有効利用するにはいいはそうだろう。東海はその屋敷の中には用意することにした。こうすれば窓の捉えておくための部屋も用意できるし、指導状を望み通り、やめるものや貧しいものの一時の宿にしてやれればと思ったのだ。窓を捉えておくための部屋も用意できるし、指導者の望む通り、やめるものや貧しいものの一時の宿にしてやればと思ったのだ。なけなしの養親のつもりだった。一人の犠牲でそれが察するのならば悪い話ではない。それにご飯の住む窓はもう年寄りのはずだ。わかろうが終えているようが他人の犠牲にしてはならないというのはきっと正しく理想的だろう。置いているような他人の犠牲にしてはならないというのはきっと正しく理想的だろう。しかし現実はそうはならない。追い先の短いものから犠牲にするしかない。追い先の短いものから犠牲にするしかない。そのものは私を恨むんだろう。けれども、恨みなら受付している。貧しい者、やめる者、誰にも祈りをあげられなかった者、捧げられなかった者、誰にもそういうものにこそ 手を差し伸ばられべきです。の述べられべき、述べられ、述べられ、述べられ、述べられ、述べられべきです。私その時、彼女の言葉を思い出していた。私その時、私のやり方は傲慢で、強引で、優しさのかけらもなく、多くのものの憎しみを買っていたが、それでも私なりに手を差し伸べてやるつもりだった。かけらもなく、多くのものを憎しみを買っていたが、それでも私なりに手を差し伸べてやるつもりだった。彼女の言葉を私なりに守ろうと思ったのだった。もちろん理解していた。ローバーを犠牲にして施しを与えることを彼女の望んでなどいない。私、とっているのはただ、ゲスのやり方だ。けれど、犠牲なしでは何もできない。誰かが富を得て、誰かが使われる瞬間、誰かが犠牲になり、誰かが死んでいく。富の、富を得て、誰かが使われる瞬間、誰かが犠牲になり、誰かが死んでいく。OK。世の、世の中はそんな風に出来が、出来上げ、出来上がっている。出来上げている。私、神でなければ、聖人でもない私は、こちら、この手を血を染めた悪党、悪党、血を染めた悪党、悪党の取れる救法の方法なんて、救済、悪党が取れる救済の方法なんて、僕にはなかった。雇用系の男が館を後にすると、私しばらく一人になった。そして水を取り、匂いを稼ぎ、飼っている犬に一口飲ませてから飲み干した。一口を飲ませてから飲み干した。おい、モルガナ、君はまだどこかで生きてるのだろうが、生きているとしたら今の私の姿を見て、君はどう思うのだろう。計画にからずれ、込みをしたものの、豊系の男は命、霊取りに魔女を捕らえた。命令通りに魔女を捕らえた。私は物見の塔の最上段で、幽閉の手はず 手汗を終える、終え、その男の訪れを待っていた。やがて現れた男は、やがて現れた男は、ついていたおっさ袋、麻袋を下ろし、そいつが魔女だと言った。つい、ついでいた麻袋。麻袋の中から小さくうめき声が聞こえた。かすかにしか聞こえなかったが、老婆の声のように思えなかった。男の、男の衣服や麻袋から血の伝いがした。おい、貴様、まず着替えを加えたのか？血の匂いがする。血の匂いがする。殺すなな、殺すなとは言われていたが、見つけるなとは言われているない。殺すなと言われ、殺すなとは言われていたが、気づけるなと言われていない。そうそう、手遣いもあった。手遣い。犯人には、犯人には、怪しまれていない。帰り道は、帰り道が塗っておいた。むしろすぐに血の匂いだと気づくのだな。やはり、漁師、お前は殺人師だ。人殺、人殺しだ。つくのだな。やかましい命あるんだろうな。無論だ。多少、憧れむ、あやむ、多少、哀れむ気持ちはあったが、そもそも私が計画したことだ。無機質、無機質であろうがそうでなかろうが、魔女がたどる末路は同じだ。多少哀れむ気持ちがあったが、そもそも私が計画したことだ。無機質であろうが、そうでなかろうが、魔女がたどる末路は同じだ。その男に目線その男に目線で指図すると、男は麻袋に手をかけた。紐ほどき、もうどき、そして中からそれの少女が腕を 切り落とされた少女が現れたのだった。それが誰であるのか、すぐに分かってしまった。けれどなぜ、どうして彼女はこんな目に遭っているのか、どうしてご飯の魔女が彼女なのか、どうして、彼女はここにいるのか、どうして彼女の蒼白の面持ちで触れているのか、どうして私が彼女の捉える命令を出してしまったのか、どうしてそれを私がやったのか、どうしてこんなことになっているのか、モルガナ、私、かすれ声に彼女の反応、顔を上げた。彼女の顔は4年経ったも変わらずに、やはり醜いままだった。4年前、彼女の誕生日にその顔が慣れなかったから、4年後に伴侶にするだとか、伴侶にするだとか、そんな告白を考えていたことが一瞬頭を過ぎり、よし、あなたなのか。彼女の声が現実に引き戻す。私のことを覚えているのか、モルガナ。私共に過ごした3年間を、私どんな人間であったのかを、君を薬を塗りつけた日々を、いつも君は白地はぼ、ぼっち、ぼ、ぼっち。いつも君は墓地に行って、それはちっとも情緒がない光景で、私が憎まれ口を叩くと、君を憎まれ口を叩く。その日々を忘れるわけがないわ。覚えているのか、モルガナ。忘れるわけがない。あなたが私に与えた痛みと屈辱は絶対に忘れるものか。あなたの起こした血を宴を忘れられるわけがない。何言ってるの。それでは足りなかったというの。私全身を蹴り刺んでおいて、また足りないというのですか。全身を蹴り刺んで、刻んでおいて、なおも私の血を奪おうとするのですか。Ooh, I gotta see, I gotta see Rose read this. It's here actually, so I know where to take it back. All right, let's watch Rose play this.
The room in silence. Oh, she's the one who's saying she's gotta go. No, I thought that he was pussing out and be like, I gotta go. I imagine I was making a rather flaccid expression because as soon as Morgana was gone, Maria began cackling like a madwoman. My reply was the nearest object, courtesy of my throwing arm. Loser. How hard is it to just say it? It would have been easier if you hadn't cornered me like that. You think I believe you would have done it without a little nudge? I would have, eventually. Eventually ain't gonna cut it. Now's the right time. And don't worry, me and the girls won't make fun of you for getting your rocks off the little girls. That's not the reason I like her. Besides, I would wait at least 4 years before. It doesn't mean you can't tell her now. I think it would do her wonders, really. She's, well, so I think knowing someone cares about her will lighten the load a bit. When she comes back, give her the necklace and tell her how you feel. If she turns you down, we can all have a good laugh about it. She's so supportive. What a supportive friend. Marie and a few other girls chuckled. As uncomfortable as she was making me feel, she had a point. Regardless of whether Morgana reciprocated my feelings or not, there was a good chance that just putting them out there would help in breaking down the wall she had built in her heart. And maybe one day, I would actually be able to see her smile. I think that's how it's going to end. I think Morgana, she will forgive them. The hate will be gone. Her scars will go away. She will heal, and Jacopo will be able to see her smile. That's where I'm guessing it's going to go. I'll do it. I'll tell her. It didn't matter if I came out looking like a loser. It didn't matter if Morgana wasn't interested in me that way. What mattered was that she knew someone accepted her, regardless of her appearance or the things she had been through. And if by some chance there really was real blood flowing through my veins, then I could make good on my promise to show her the world. And that's what he wanted to do. Didn't he want to do that in his door? He's talking about he wanted to show her all these places, but she couldn't go places because, like, she'd been locked away, right? She said that, like, her family had kept her locked away. Just like this Morgana can't see the world for other reasons. I could put an end to her life of poverty and abuse, replace it with one of comfort and wealth. That's what he wanted to do for her. Like, he wanted to make her comfortable and, like, give her things. And the door, it's so sweet. Why does he have to be 22, though? I could buy her better medicine, something that could actually heal her face. If I truly were royalty, I could do so much more for her. And instead, you locked her up and drained her blood. It makes it sound like I want to be some kind of fairy tale hero or something. But honestly, I wouldn't have minded that. If I was going to make her happy, to wipe away all her past misfortune, why couldn't I make it a little dramatic? It wasn't usually my style, but in this case, I wouldn't have objected to a storybook ending. This, though. No, this wasn't the kind of story I was hoping for. The heavy curtains separating the guest rooms had been torn to shreds, and they were splattered with blood. A man apparently caught without enough time to defend himself lay splayed out naked on a bed, his empty eyes fixed on the ceiling. The whole area reeked of blood. All I could do was stare stupefied at the carnage. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? My dumbfounded muttering went unanswered, though. The few who were still alive could make no better sense of the incomprehensible massacre than me. And suddenly, arbitrary upheaval of our world. The inexplicable, inescapable reality. Shortly after Morgana stepped out, I heard a woman scream from the front of the brothel. Next, a man shouting. At first, I assumed it was one of the customers losing his temper over something, but the tone of the scream seemed somehow off or something like that. It wasn't long before the noise had escalated to alarming levels, so I dashed toward the source of the shouting. A good dozen men, bandits, or maybe thieves, they seemed more organized, had raided the brothel. They slaughtered all the customers, stripping them of any valuables. They tied up the girls, killing any who resisted. The first thought that rose to my panicked mind was that I needed to find Morgana. I needed to get her out of here no matter what. I couldn't let her birthday turn into a tragedy. She'd already been through enough, and I had to make sure she didn't suffer any further. I had to make her life into something good. I searched and I searched, but there was no sign of Morgana anywhere, until suddenly something seemed to crash into me from behind, causing me to stagger. It took a few seconds for the pain to set in, which is when I looked down to see the tip of a blade sticking out my gut. Blood streamed along the metal surface, and there were little bits of flesh caught on the edges. Turned around just in time to see the man holding it kick me away. And before I had time to process what was happening, I hit the floor and lost consciousness. If I were a hero, I could have suddenly eradicated all the violent intruders in the blink of an eye, saving everyone. Protected that which I wanted to protect. Not had to lose anything. But I was a mere boy. A weak boy, helpless against a few robbers. A useless boy, unable to protect anyone. When I woke up, Maria was kneeling over me sobbing. No sign of the tough, foul-mouthed girl I knew. Aside from her, there were two other girls also crying, leaving only 4 survivors. Apparently, I wasn't dead. Looking down, I saw my bare stomach wrapped in blood. I would have been honored to have led the charge, but this was all about one woman's avarice and desire for revenge. This was all about one man. There's still time. Go to the Lord's Manor. Show him. I'm not. And suddenly, arbitrary upheaval of our world. The inexplicable, inescapable reality. Shortly after Morgana stepped out, I heard a woman scream. The first thought that rose to my panicked mind was that I needed to find. I needed to get her out of here somewhere, stripping them of any valuables. They tied up the girls, killed. The seemed to step out. Why? How? And suddenly, arbitrary upheaval. The rooms had been torn to shreds, and they blood. The innocent losing the source of the shouting. Sticking out my gut. Blood streamed. Protect. Not had to lose anything. When I woke up, Maria was kneeling, wasn't dead bodies. I made my way back. I saw my bare stomach wrapped in blood-soaked bandages. The brothel lay in ruins, a bloody pile of torn bedding, clothes, and bodies. I made my way back to the front, and all I could do was stare stupefied at the carnage. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? My dumbfounded muttering went unanswered. Maria stood beside me, quietly rubbing her trembling arms. Where's Morgana? I couldn't find her. Why not? I'm sorry. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find her. I'm so sorry. I wanted to say I wasn't blaming her, but I couldn't find the words. If I had power, I could have prevented this from happening. What kind of power would I have needed, though? The physical strength to overpower the thieves? No, I needed to think bigger. If I weren't a peasant, but someone of real influence and import, no one would dare stand up to me. No petty thieves would ever even consider a raid on me. And I would have the power to punish anyone who tried. So this is kind of where that power came in, where he's just like, if I have power, then I can protect what I care about. But I need to know how he went from that to locking Morgana away, because he had to have known that was Morgana. There's no other person that looks like Morgana. It is not a case of mistaken identity. But regardless, this would have never happened at all. I was supposed to give Morgana a good life, to show her the world. Instead, you locked her away. You did the exact opposite of what you said you were going to do, to make her smile. If only I had power. Absolute, unflinching power. If I climbed to the top of the ladder when the chance was offered to me, this all could have been avoided. If only I had asserted my place as royalty a month earlier, as the woman who claimed to be my mother had urged me to. I wanted power. The power to keep everything I cared about safe. The power to change this damned world. The power to stop those filthy thieves. The power to keep her by my side. I wanted power. I heard about the attack on the brothel, and that you were hurt. So glad to see you're well. But a week after the raid, I went to see the woman who professed herself my mother. As you would expect of someone who had served at the old Lord's Manor, she was very elegant and graceful. The shop where she stayed, though, was a shabby drab place with bare wattle and daub walls. You were concerned about my safety? Of course. Show me a mother who's not always concerned about her child's safety. It's just a woman I'd never seen until a month ago. Physical distance has no bearing on a mother's love, she said with a soft smile. Age had clearly begun taking its toll on her, but I could see hints of former beauty. You had gone to speak with the Lord and revealed your lineage when I first came to see you. You would have never been in that kind of danger. There's still time. Go to the Lord's Manor. Show him. I'm not really your son, am I? The woman fell silent for a moment, observing me. I could see the resemblance between us, yes, but I had no memories of my mother. It would be nice if she were to show back up someday, but it just wasn't likely. This whole thing felt extremely contrived. Discussions will progress much smoother if we both know what the other wants out of this arrangement. Start by telling me who you really are. Were you actually a maidservant for the previous lord? She gave a nod and walked over to a grimy shelf and retrieved a ring that looked very much out of place. It was made of gold engraved with an elaborate insignia. Look at this. It's the Barnier family crest. The previous lord gave me the ring as a gift, and I've kept it ever since, even after our relationship was discovered and I was chased out. I didn't sell it because I knew I was with child. They'll have no choice but to acknowledge you as a legitimate heir if you show them this ring. Why did you wait so long to come find me then? I was afraid they might kill you if I brought you in as a baby. Why were we separated? Misfortune. One day bandits came and kidnapped you. Presumably they were hired by the Barnier estates because they didn't want your existence coming to light. I consider it a miracle you're still alive. I can only imagine the stern look on my face as I listened to the woman speak. Part of me did indeed want to take everything she said as true. Wanted to believe I was someone important. But I couldn't convince myself I had anything other than a commoner's blood running through my veins. It would appear you've done your research. I don't have any other family to the best of my knowledge, which does indeed make me a good candidate for you to step in and claim your stake on. If I were to guess, your child with the Lord has either passed away or never existed at all. It's probably true you worked at Barney's Manor, and it's probably true you had relations with the former Lord. You were chased out, and now you live in poverty. You want to go back to your former, more comfortable life, and while you're at it, take vengeance on the current Lord. But being a woman, you have no means to accomplish that yourself. So you came up with the idea of using a fake son. If your child were still alive, he would be right about my age, wouldn't he? And we look similar enough for you to convincingly claim we're related. But the biggest reason you chose me is because I've made something of a name for myself. Because I was one of the people involved in inciting the revolt 3 years ago. Perfect choice to spearhead a revolution. How dramatic. The man who set the Lord's slaves free was secretly his family. The people would eat it right up. So how far off am I? For some time the woman sat in silence. Eventually she broke it. Not by yelling in anger or desperately trying to refute me, but with a smile. I knew very well what lurks behind that smile, too. Scorn. You're sharp for a filthy peasant. It would seem I chose wisely. I was right. She was a manipulative, conniving shyster. But that I could work with. That fits so much better. I wasn't royalty. I wasn't a hero. I was a filthy peasant. I'm in. First thing I did after agreeing to work with a woman was not to approach the Lord, but to reveal my false lineage to my accomplices. They all thought I was joking until I showed them the ring. Then their dreams of revolution started seeming far more realistic. Maria was the one exception. Not only did she not believe me, she tried to stop me from going through with the scheme. Haven't you had enough danger for one life? Come on, forget about all this revolution stuff. We can build up the new brothel and just stay low for the rest of our lives. Does that really sound so bad? You're the only friend I've got left, Jacopo, she said, somewhat desperately. I sympathized with her concerns, but I didn't want to let this chance to gain some real power slip away. I was done having things taken away from me. Hear me, my fellow citizens, who live in suffering at the hands of your supposed Lord. Within me flows the blood of the previous Lord. I am the rightful heir. Behold, the Barnier's golden ring, proof that I am of noble birth. Victims of this terrible tyrant, time has come to start anew, and I shall be the one to lead you down that path. Like, maybe he got corrupted by power. Whether he truly believes he's doing good with the church and with, the blood, helping the city, maybe he sees it as like, the greater good thing, if it means betraying the girl that he loves. Or if he got corrupted by power, I guess we'll see. The poor, the hungry, the deprived, all of you stand with me. My call to arms stoked the flames in people's hearts. When the assault on the Lord's Manor began, they were an inferno of righteous justice. No one was thinking straight. I was about the only one with something resembling a clear head amidst the chaos. If I were really a hero, then I would have rejoiced in that glorious day. That's a momentous turning point in the city's history. I would have been honored to have led the charge, but this was all about one woman's avarice and desire for revenge. This was all about one man's lamentation of his own weakness. I wasn't motivated by any desire to help these people. The Lord backed into a corner, begged for his life. I decapitated him, then held his severed head up for the people. Their cheers and shouts filled the air. As I watched them rejoice, I wondered, was this the future that awaited me? Would the people come after me next? Was my head going to be in one of their hands one day? That's why he's so, distrustful of people. He's afraid he's going to lose that power. The king and the other counts acknowledged my royalty, though it was less because I had the Barney's ring, and more because they thought it was the best way to prevent things from getting any messier. So with their approval, I formally became the Lord of the land. I also assumed the former Lord's name, because despite his reputation with his people, it was a name people knew, and one that held far more clout than my own. And just like that, my long-time dream of power had come true. That said, simply becoming the Lord didn't mean everything had fallen neatly into place. Many of the local noble families accused me of acquiring my rank illegitimately. They waited fangs bared for me to slip up. They even tried to set me up on more than one occasion. I couldn't trust anyone. Yep, there's the distrust. On top of that, if I took too long making the improvements I promised the people, they would start saying I was just as much of a tyrant as the previous Lord. There was only so much I could do at once, though, especially with my hands so full fending off the vulturous nobles. So he saw Morgana as the way to legitimize himself and to prevent himself from being, taken down. Exhaustion soon began to set in. This wasn't the world I was looking for, the one I wanted to show Morgana. It was day after draining day of betrayal, constantly having to look over my shoulder, fighting to meet unrealistic expectations. I was starting to lose sight of who I was as a person. I couldn't let anyone see me looking weak. They would see it as an opportunity to take advantage of me, to manipulate me, to eliminate me. I needed power to protect myself from those people. Attaining rank was only the first step. I needed even more power, enough to ensure no one would ever be giving me orders, could ever play me for a fool. I turned my attention first to bolstering the economy. I provided subsidies to merchants in the city. I expanded trade routes. I made it known that people of any skin color, even those not welcome in other territories, were welcome in my land, trying to bring some vitality to the city. The previous Lord had evidently loved to throw parties, squandering away nearly all the tax money on his own entertainment. He had left me more to work with. I would have used it to clean up and repair the slums. But for the time being, that had to remain another item on the checklist. So it's similar to the previous two men and their stories, where it's maybe more so Mel than the swordsman. I guess the swordsman too, where it's on the outside they're doing things for one reason, and it seems like it's for a selfless reason. In the swordsman, it's the bringing things to the church to help Pauline, but it's more to help himself. And same with Mel, where it seems like he's helping his sister to be a good person, but he's also kind of being selfish about it. So it seems to be the case where you can do a good thing and have it do good in the world, but also kind of for selfish reasons as well. That's what I'm trying to say. I needed more money flowing through the city as a whole before I could make any headway on fixing up the poor areas. I feel like he does genuinely want to help at least the people that he used to run around with as well. But his good intentions kind of got tainted a bit. Helping the people who needed it most quickly became a secondary objective. I had a pretty good idea of what my former accomplices still in the slums were saying about me. He used us. I could practically hear them whispering. Some of them even started publicly slandering me in an attempt to undermine my authority, claiming I wasn't suited to be in a position of power because I'd spent most of my life in the slums. It wasn't long before they convinced the people I was just another tyrant. I'd hoped that they, if no one else, would have sympathized with my position, realized that I had every intention of helping them, and that I simply didn't have the resources for it yet. But no one saw what I was doing. No one believed me, even when I tried to explain. In one case, I invited an old companion to my manor to discuss matters, but the meeting only turned into an attempt on my life, so even he can't even trust the people he used to hang out with, people he considered friends. So I can see why he's so guarded with people. Having absolutely no one I could trust, no one I could call an ally, hit me a lot harder than I'd expected, and twisted my worldview beyond recognition. I had no need for sympathy. I couldn't show care for anyone, otherwise someone would inevitably use it against me, old friends and strangers alike. In fact, those who knew me best, those who were aware of where I'd come from and what I had been before, were the ones who fought the hardest to tear me down. Rules needed to be created, punishments established. I couldn't allow anyone to take this power from me. Anyone who so much as suggested I'd come from the slums, anyone who dared disrespect me, had to be eliminated. That's why he acted so strongly when Michelle started to call me Jacopo and imply that he was a slave. All threats exterminated before they could reach me. Somewhere along the line, I had lost sight of my original dream, lost all my desire to do right by the people I cared about. Hell, I didn't have anyone to do right by anymore. Why did I need to climb to the top of the ladder? So no one could kill me. Why did I want money? So no one could mock me. Why did I want power? So no one could oppose me. 4 years passed, and I found myself in a very, very distant place. Miracle blood sounds like a sham to me. You never know. They say the sound of her first cry brought rain to the land where she was born, saving the whole village from drought. And they say her blood has the power to cure any disease. One day, a curious rumor came to my attention, the kind of whispering I wouldn't usually put much stock into. It was said there was a witch living in a cottage by the lake. Few had ever seen her face, but they claimed she had the same voice as a girl who had supposedly performed miracles several years earlier in a faraway village. The people love their stories of heroes and miracles, and if I could show some support for the churches, then maybe people would stop complaining I was focusing too much on the economy. So I devised a plot to capture the witch and make use of her miracle blood. I would establish a new church, have it be run by a nun the city had been fawning over for some time. They called her the Saintess. There, I would take the witch's blood and call it a miracle medicine, distributing it in exchange for tits, which the people would certainly come for in droves. And if the blood somehow did happen to have special powers, then it would make the scheme that much more effective. I'll worry about the veracity of the rumors later. Right now, all I want is for you to capture her and bring her to me. He has to have no idea, right? About, like, that's Morgana. He probably doesn't realize it until, like, he literally sees her be brought to him. Like, what a small world that all of these characters are interconnected like this. I was too busy to handle capturing the witch myself, so I went and found someone to handle it for me. He was a former slave who had, several years back, massacred an entire carriage of slaves and the slave traders transporting them. Obviously not an upstanding citizen, but there was little doubt he would have any trouble apprehending a single witch. The biggest reason I chose him, though, was because he was enamored with a nun. I honestly thought it was rather hilarious. A murderer falling in love with a nun. I had been expecting the man to object, but he agreed almost without hesitation. There was a mansion on the outskirts of the city, which the previous lord had built for himself and had gone unused since his death. It was there I decided to keep the witch, and it was there I decided to establish the church. The nun would have ample space there to provide temporary shelter to the sick and needy. I thought, with what little remained to my conscience, that I was doing the right thing. If one witch, probably an old woman at that, oh, if only you knew, I mean, he will know soon enough, was all it cost to accomplish such good, then a worthy sacrifice it was. In an ideal world, it wouldn't matter young or old. A human being was an unacceptable price for anything. But this was far from an ideal world, so I decided that taking what little remained of this woman's life was the best. No, the only acceptable course of action. She would probably despise me for it, but I would gladly accept her hatred in exchange for the benefits her blood would bring the city. It's our responsibility to offer a helping hand to the sick and poor, to pray for the abandoned souls. Morgana's words from years back popped in my head, and just the irony of the fact that he's using her words to justify what he's doing, and he's going to be harming Morgana, but maybe in a way he'll be like, but this is what she would want. She would want to help the sick and needy. So I'm doing that through her. It's kind of fucked up, but I could see him justifying it that way. I believed that, as aggressive, self-centered, and utterly lacking in compassion as my methods may have been, I was following that mantra. I was offering a helping hand to people who needed it in the only way I knew how. I wasn't so dense to think she would approve of me making an old woman pay the price for my charity, though. Doing this made me no better than a thug. But everything has a price. For every extravagant feast held, a dozen people go the night without food. That's simply the way of the world. I was no god. I was no saint. I had blood on my hands. I was a villain. I knew no way to accomplish good without doing bad. After the swordsman departed, I took some time to myself. I filled a goblet with water, smelled it, then gave a bit of it to my pet dog before gulping down the rest of it. Oh, is that his way of being like he's testing to see if it's been poisoned, so he's giving some to his dog to be like, will the dog get sick off it? Yeah, he's real paranoid. Are you still out there somewhere, Morgana? What would you think of me if you saw what I had become? I mean, she'll see soon enough. Several days later than originally planned, the swordsman finally arrived at the mansion. I had chosen the observation tower on the grounds for the witch's prison, and it was there I waited for him. He showed up with a burlap sack swung over his shoulder, setting it down on the ground and saying, "There's your witch." I could only hear muffled grunting from inside the sack, but it didn't sound like an old woman inside. The man's clothes and the bag both reeked of blood. Tell me you didn't harm her, dog. I smell blood. You only instructed me not to kill her. Mistakes were made. Limbs were lost. I cleaned up all the blood I got on me. No one suspected anything. That you were able to immediately recognize it as the smell of blood says quite a bit, Lord. You have killed before, haven't you? Oh no, it's not because he's killed, it's because it's like from the massacre at the brothel. Enough yapping. She is alive, yes? Of course. I felt a tinge of guilt for the woman, but it didn't last long. Her role in my scheme, and the fate that awaited her, was the same regardless of the condition she arrived in. I tossed my gaze from the man to the bag. He crouched down to untie it, revealing a young girl with one arm severed. As soon as I saw her, I knew exactly who the girl was. But why? What was she doing in the bag? Why was she the lakeside witch? What was she doing here? Why was she so pale and shaking? Why had I ordered her captured? How could I have done that? How could I have let this happen to her? Morgana. My voice was hoarse and rattling. She looked up at me, her face just as disfigured and hideous as it had been 4 years before. My mind flashed back to her birthday, to when I'd considered offering to take her as my lifetime partner if her face hadn't healed in 4 years' time. Is that you? Like, the odds of it happening... Is this 4 years? It's 3 or 4 years later, right? Her question yanked me out of my memories. You remember me? Did Morgana remember me? The 3 years we'd spent together, the kind of person I had been, the boy who had refused to give up putting ointment on her face, those horribly unromantic encounters at the graveyard, her taking shots at me taking shots at her, all that time we shared. How could I ever forget? Morgana, she remembered me? How could I ever forget all the pain and humiliation you put me through? What? How could I ever forget the blood sabbats you so loved to hold? Wait. What? What was she talking about? That's the old lord, right? That wasn't him. Haven't had enough, have you? Leaving scars on every inch of my body wasn't enough for you? You haven't had your fill of my blood? No, that wasn't me. I was the one who tried to heal those wounds. I mean, it's been some time, but, like, the fact that she would get them mixed up, I imagine the other lord is, like, an older guy and looks very different from him. She must just be out of her mind. I mean, she's probably just out of her mind with, like, trauma, and also, you know, she did just get her arm cut off, so she's just probably not thinking straight. You're the man who bound me, cut me up, called me a witch, and then tried to kill me. I haven't forgotten you, even for a moment. No, Morgana, I was the man who rescued you from him. I don't care how much my father preaches forgiveness. That is the one thing you'll never get from me. I despise you with all my soul. I revile you with every fiber of my being. For every scar you gave me, I give you a lifetime of hatred. No, Morgana. I was not aware you knew the witch, Lord. His voice made my blood run cold. I didn't just know her. Morgana was... this man, the Lord. He destroyed me, mind and body. Maybe she just heard, like, Lord, and she's just, like, assumes it's him? No, that was another man. He was already dead. I had just taken his place. I had come from the slums. I'd been part of the slaves' revolt. I knew I had to tell her. He ruined my life. But between the sting of Morgana's accusations and my need to protect my current position, I couldn't muster the strength to do it. If someone were to find out I wasn't legitimate royalty, that I had come from the slums, that everything I worked so hard to build up for who, though, would come crumbling down. Do I really think it hasn't already? All I had left was my power, my rank. Didn't he want to do this for her? Like, he said he wanted to, like, show her the world or something if he had power, and now he's... The irony of him, like, locking her up instead. Is that what I really actually wanted? I couldn't afford to lose that, too. When did I first start straying from the path? Yes, I know her. Or, I knew her years ago. I see. What do you want to do then, Lord? You look sick. This doesn't change anything. We lock the witch up and proceed as planned. Damn. Why? Why couldn't I tell her the truth? How? How could I keep her imprisoned? What? What had I wanted power for in the first place? Would anyone ever believe me if I said this wasn't how I wanted things to turn out? Would anyone ever believe me? Before me floats a man twisted and writhing in pain, although whether what I'm looking at could be said to resemble a human is a difficult question. It's a hazy, indistinct shape, on the precipice of being consumed by darkness everlasting. I know very well what I'm looking at. The moments before a man's soul shatters. Okay, this has got to be Michelle again. Did I do the same thing to him that Morgana did to me? Was it I who summoned the darkness? Who laid his past bare? Who forced him to relive those events? To experience once more everything he felt, everything he thought? Who put him through that despair a second time? I can only imagine how he must have felt, causing someone he once cared for so much pain. Like, there's just the connections are so, like, the fact that he caused someone he loved pain, desperately trying to, like, keep his past from other people, learning about it. Just like Michelle's connection to all of these other guys, they have, like, their own similarities. The things he did are abhorrent, more than deserving of reproach, and it would undoubtedly be easier for him to simply vanish into the eternal abyss. But I can't allow that to happen. He still has work to do. His story is essential. It's almost certain Morgana still doesn't know who he really is. He needs to face her, to reveal the truth with his own words. That's the only way we're going to get her to have a change of heart. That's not all he has to say to her either, so I must bring him back, pull him out of the darkness. I grab the man by the arm and begin scouring the blackness for an exit. After some time, I see a speck glistening high above, so I make my way upwards, back into the harsh light of the real world. The darkness parts, and we re-emerge in the dining hall. The man is still straddling me, dagger held above his head, just as he had before our trek into his past. His eyes are open wide, and his hand is trembling. A few moments later, his fingers go slack, and the blade slips from his grasp, piercing the wood floor by my face. Hey, what was that? I swear I saw some kind of black cloud or something. What happened to you two? Neither of you saw any of that? Saw what? If you didn't see anything, then don't worry about it. The necklace. That must have been the key to unlocking his memories. Like when I touched the mirror in the mansion. I have no idea why certain objects show me different memories, but I got what I needed, I think. I'm fairly certain the white-haired girl is Morgana now. The things Jacopo did to her and felt for her behind the third door have much in common with him and Morgana in this life. Why did you dig that up? How the hell did you do that? Why did you show me my former self? Why did you make me watch that? Why didn't you tell her? And you only opened your mouth and told Morgana the truth. Told her you weren't the previous lord. Told her who you really were. I don't know, I feel like that would make things worse because then she'd be betrayed by someone she considered a friend, rather than someone who didn't see her as, like, a human. I feel like it would cut that much deeper, like with Jacopo, when the people that he was close to ended up trying to kill him and betray him and turned against him, like it hurts that much more. Things could have turned out differently. Turned out differently how? Knowing would have only worsened her pain. Yes, you're exactly right. The man who once saved her life is now the source of all her misery, right? Like, that would— I feel like that would be worse. How would knowing that do anything but cause her more despair? The least you could have done then was let her go free. I had already put money into setting up the church here. Her arm had been cut off. There was no turning back. You can't go back from that. You could have, yes. You could have stopped then and there. Don't act like you know anything. You couldn't possibly comprehend the weight on my shoulders, you dirty peasant. You're right, I can't, and I'll be damned if I want to. To hell with understanding the feelings of a man who could so easily lose sight of what mattered most for a little power. Gugh. Money, power, that's not what you really wanted to hold dear. So why couldn't you let go of that? Why did you have to go and let what mattered most slip through your fingers? Had you done anything, it wouldn't have had to come to this. Ugh. I couldn't have people knowing where I came from. I needed wealth, rank? No, you didn't need any of that. Do you have any idea how much Morgana treasured her time with you and Maria? Do you know how she described that period? As one of the brightest chapters of her life. Those 3 years she spent at the brothel until it was attacked. She said that was where she learned how to find joy in life. Enough. She would never say any of that. Why do you refuse to believe me? She never opened up to anyone. That's all just your fantasy. What you want to see in her. You're trying to convince me of something that was never there. I think he just doesn't want to, it would make him feel more guilty if he knew that, like, she actually were close with them, or she felt like they were her friends, because it just makes the betrayal that much worse. No, I think he's right, Lord. I believe she did feel that way. The day I killed that carriage full of slaves 4 years ago. This girl you're talking about, she was there. What? That can't. And she said this to me before I began my massacre. I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me. She was crying as she did. So that's who she was talking about. It was you. There's no way. When exactly did the brothel attack 4 years ago take place? It was the winter. I see. Winter 4 years ago is when I met the girl too. That reminds me. She mentioned something unpleasant happening to her 4 years ago during one of our conversations. That she was forced to part ways with the people who taught her that humans are capable of kindness. She was talking about you. And there's the realization. There's still time. You can still set Morgana free. You can still reveal your true self to her. She was likely in shock that day, not seeing or thinking straight. She still thinks you're someone else. Exactly, yeah. I can imagine why she would be in shock. Hearing you were the Lord, it set something off inside her, preventing her from seeing who you really were. Her time in the previous Lord's captivity left scars even deeper than she knew. So all it took was that one word. And in her eyes, you became him. Which isn't to say you haven't caused her much pain yourself, but I still believe your truth is the key to allaying her hatred. It will change her perception of the world. I'm certain of it. So please, release Morgana and spill your heart for her. I was planning to end it all with a harvest festival. Wait, end it all? How? What? That sounds so, like, morbid. What? I was already planning to set her free then. Oh. I knew damn well it was much too little too late. But I needed an excuse to face her. Some occasion to give me that last nudge. So I told myself, that was going to be the day. That's when I'm going to do it. But you had to show up out of nowhere, digging up my past. Throwing all my plans out the window. You still think I'm the reason your carefully laid plans fell apart? I'll let her go during the Harvest Festival. That's gonna be too late. Tomorrow she goes free. Tomorrow is too late. What difference does it make? When the bell tolls noon on the day of the Harvest Festival, Morgana dies. I've had more than enough of your so-called prophecies. I'm done. Why do you still refuse to believe me? I'm not making anything up. I'm from the future. I know how this ends. I mean, after everything that you've experienced, you're still not going to believe him? Having an occasion and a plan can certainly make it easier to take action, but you can't just wait for the right occasion for everything. Sometimes, if you don't act on something as soon as you've decided to do it, you'll miss your chance. In your next life, you make the same mistakes. You lock someone up that you care about, eventually causing her to break down entirely. And you're so fixated on waiting for the right occasion, you completely destroy any chance of salvaging anything. I didn't even... I didn't make that connection. All the other stuff about his door and this, but I didn't think about the fact that he like locks her away in a room. And then she just eventually goes like insane. Huh. The parallels. It makes me want to go back and just read the chapters again. If you're set on releasing her, then release her. Yakubo. Stop being so damned fixated on your occasions already. Enough. Damn you. You're right. You don't have to tell me I'm being a fool. I'll do it. Right now, I'll do it. I'll release her. It feels like it's coming. This feels like this is the precipice. Like, this is the ending. I don't know how much is left, but, like, it feels like we're coming to the climax here. Thank you for making up your mind. I didn't make the lock require 3 keys because the weight was too much to bear alone. It was because having others with me would force me to keep up the lurid facade, to prevent me from letting anything slip. Or maybe I was just waiting, hoping someone would betray me, make me pay. Pathetic, I know. You can have the necklace. It belongs to you. Though I doubt Morgana will accept it. I hope you'll still attempt to give it to her yourself. Will you do that? Where did you get that, anyway?
Holy shit. Wow. Every time I listen to this fucking story, I just start tearing up, bro. It's so fucking good. So fucking good. I don't have enough time, though. Let me reread what I was struggling to understand. And then I have to get out of here. Mm. Huh? 何これ閉じる。覚えてるのかはまかな。忘れるわけがない。あなたが私の与えた瞳の屈辱は絶対に忘れるものか。あなたの起こすと地を疑いを忘れるわけが忘れられるわけがない。何言ってるの。あれ足りなかったというの。そして全身刻んで打ってまだ足りないというのですか。なおの私の血を奪おうとするのですか。違う、それは私じゃない。私は君のキスをなしていった男だ。私、縛りつけ、痛みつけ、最後には魔女を叫び、私やめようとして、そしてあなたを一瞬たりとも忘れたってことはない。一瞬たりとも忘れたことはない。違う、モルガナ。私はそこから君を救い出した男だ。許すものか。あなただけは許すものか。誰よりも憎んでやる。誰より恨んでやる。この私をいつまで恥ずかしめつけるあなたをの生涯をかけて憎んでやる。モルガナ、違う。なんだ知り合いだったのか、領事よ。男の子はね、血が氷にいたようだった。知られたとか、そういうものではない。だってモルガナのことは、このレオスが私の身体の心を解放したのよ。解放破壊したのよ。破壊したのよ。違うと。それは別の男だと。 そのことはすでに死んでいて、私が成り変わったのだと。Is that 成り Yes, 成り変わったのだと。私かつて町民であった男だと、奴隷の反来に行った男なのだと。反乱違って何かな、漢字読めねえ。反乱に行った男なのだと。それをつけなければいけないと思っていたのに、すべての元く、すべての元凶、モルガナの絶叫、今の私現実、私の心を縛り付けていく。モルガナの絶叫、球団。Alright, that's enough for me.